Hello. I was looking at this stuff about Bill Cosby, and it sounds to me, that's absolutely plausible. That did happen, because a lot of that type of thinking in the late '60s and early '70s, you know, where like, oh, the sex industry, was very rampant, not only in our education and our police department. Uh, I remember this like these one real racist white police, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you can imagine, like, they tried to like make our neighborhood gangs or whatever. You know, they wanted Hell's Kitchen to be called Clinton, and we were all against that. But like at that time, they had, during when they brought the people from Edison Island, I guess, for they were in the Statue of Liberty. Then they came over. They came over with a big prostitution rings. If the women were not married, or even if they said I was married, my husband died, and they got a kid, they would have to pay off what it cost for their housing and food, because they just came over anyway. And you have to have a place to stay. You have to have food, and they would supply with the job, the housing, and all this, etc. But it was in the police department. They had it they just had where they just prostituted some teachers. But anyway, I remember this one story of like this real racist white guy, and he was like all against black people doing anything that the whites were going to be taking over all the jobs. But he was, I guess, anyway. So I guess the way the story goes is that he was okay when one of his nieces turned up at one of as a prostitute, but when his daughter turned up as one, his solution, even though she was a victim of like a system to where where they would take advantage of children, they always had those one or two kids, boys or girls, that was always like, oh, they're supposed to be the smart one because they know all about sex. And usually, their parents are, guiding them and using them to make money off of blackmail and embezzlement, which was the whole thing behind it, or showing them X-rated pictures or something and shaming them. But anyway, so I guess he ended up killing his daughter, because like, it sort of contradicted it, like his whole idea, like, oh, it's because of her family and all this. But if there's like and also we also had like they closed up 42nd Street. They arrested, like, I think the preacher from Sacred Heart, the Catholic church and school over there on between, what was it, 10th and cross the street from PS 111, Sacred Heart. And they closed down, like, they had a teacher and a doctor's sex industry, and then they had like men that love boys or something. All these, and the main thing that they counted on was someone either being totally dependent, like, oh, I can't do nothing with my son because I don't have a man. Even though, like, in the past, men would go away and get drafted into wars and whatnot, and women perfectly well held up the household. But the propaganda is when these men come back, what I'm saying, we got to find a job for them, and we had to find a job for the Koreans and the Vietnamese that we brought in here. So, anyway, and they want to make them above the natives, above the brown people, African Americans, you know what I'm saying, but heavily stay in debt. But anyway, so the sex industry was in, because like even Michael Jackson, like the rumors I heard with Joe Jackson and all them, is that he didn't see anything wrong with the sex industry and making money off of other people. And really, when you do that to a child, because like here I hear parents like saying like that's what they want to do. You know, that's not what a child wants to do. If the only thing you introduce them to is being sexually touched or bruised, you know what I'm saying? That is all you taught that child. You see, it's different like if they're in their 30s or their 40s. You know what I'm saying? Because then that would be self-learned. They would go out of their way. But if you're a little child and you are acting out, that is because somebody has taught you that. And everybody in the health industry and everybody in the psychiatry that have to work with children know that if this child is just speaking on this and just acting this out, you know what I'm saying? You know, like it's the same way, like, you know, if this child's got whooped because he's gonna be violent. He's not gonna be socially. He's not gonna be able to bond with the other kids. You know what I'm saying? Without getting mad at something that kid, you know, everybody make him mad. You know what I'm saying? He don't have no self-control. He don't have to. You know what I'm saying? You know, because his parents, they couldn't control themselves. You know, they could not teach that child the correct and right response. What they did was decide, well, I'll just beat the child. And then magically after I whoop him and cause him pain and discomfort, which, when your brain is fighting off pain, it doesn't learn. I guess afterwards, when they calm down, you know what I'm saying, and maybe they get around some other kids, might tell them how to do it. But they're not going to learn from an ass whooping except for how to, you know, later on maybe, you know, but, you know what I'm saying? And usually they come out as a coward punk bitch. They ain't going to hit nobody over 2 feet tall. So when their kid gets, you know, a little taller, you know, I don't know what to do with them. You know, they need their daddy. When the daddy come home out of prison, you know, still doing crack, got 5 or 6 other women he think he got to have sex with, you know, bragging to his kids, so that, you know what I'm saying? So now mama ain't nothing but like a whore. Because like, I got 2 or 3 hoes. So what does that make that child's mom? Even if it comes out unconscious. But anyway, all women are hoes. But you know, with that Bill, getting back to that, with that Bill Cosby, yeah, there was a lot of men that the sex industry, you know, like to manipulate them and think, oh, well, you know, power and control is you could now buy a person. You know what I'm saying? You could open up a job with that mentality, a franchise at McDonald's, and have employees, and then you buy a person. You know what I'm saying? The only thing different is, you know what I'm saying, they're going to pay this other person, but the actual person, you know what I'm saying, is the child. They're not going to reap any benefits from it. You know? And so, you know, so the child is just basically being used like it's like like they're just, you know, a piece of furniture, you know, or some object like a golf club somebody came along so you could just play with. When you get tired of it, you stick it up, you know what I'm saying? A rented one at that, right? But the whole sex industry really, you know, in a lot of ways it was to fund the wars and to traffic drugs. You know what I'm saying? You know, children, you know, you could pick up a child in one hand. You know what I mean? And basically, you know, and that was another thing, is the police was the number one thing to blackmail embezzlement. If you think about this just for a minute, with the involvement with the gangs when they started, like, you know, really big, the Crips and whatever else they are. But if you think about Republicans and Democrats, Reds and Blues and whatever, and how they're divided, you know, it's just divided what state is profiting off prostitution, trafficking of cocaine, and you know, and then, like, I guess you know what I'm saying. And in their mind, if they're gonna put all of these kids in if they're gonna you know what I'm saying, they're going to make money off of jails or privatizing jails and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? They don't have to teach. They're going to make money off of us being sick of medical thing. Whoa. They're going to make money off of us being sick out of the medical thing. They need us to stay sick. So you need to go eat your cereal and drink the milk. You know. Anyway, let me see if this thing messed up.